Okay, guys, so how many bloody watches do you need? Um, this is just a little bit of a story, a video about my journey with watches. Now, there's one or two missing. I've got buried in the loft somewhere. Um, but I've had watches all my life. I had a little bit of a hiatus with watches from my 30s up until my early 40s. And then in my early 40s, I got into G-Shocks. And I've currently got a G-Shock getting a battery changed. So I don't have it here. But I'll just go through some watches that I've got. I need a new battery in this. I went to a motorcycle show and I bought this because I was big into motorcycles and a big Valentino Rossi fan. And this is one I bought. I can't even remember how much I paid. I think I paid about 80 Aussie dollars for this. And at the time, it was cool enough. It was just an impulse, fun purchase. Simple as that. I think I wore it a few times. The battery went in it. I didn't bother getting it replaced. I could probably I might get the battery. I might just replace the battery myself. I do have a tool when you got these case backs. They're pretty easily removable. I might replace that. This was my father's watch, bless him. He couldn't afford expensive watches, but he had this. This is quite a big one. But my dad had tree trunk wrists. I mean, I'll just keep that for. I could probably replace the battery in this actually. I might do that. I might get these working again, and just wear them for a bit of a laugh. My daughter's got a Mickey Mouse watch, and so for my birthday, she bought me this for a laugh. Okay, and I do occasionally wear this. And it's good to wear these watches. I think this is a 45mm case. And it's good to buy cheap watches because you get a good understanding of what fits you without really breaking the bank. And I've had this a few years. I'm guessing it's got one of those long energy batteries in there. And it's the right time as well. I have it. It's a quartz. It keeps good time. Now, the watch that got me back into thinking about watches was this little thing. There is something about the styling of these types of watches, these classic watches, that I really love. Okay, this is just a 30 quid quartz watch. I'm pretty sure it's quartz. It had better be quartz anyway. Does it say quartz on there? It doesn't. But I just thought, I'm going to buy something really cheap and just to see if I feel like wearing watches again. Because when the mobile phone came along, where's my other... that's it. I had this from my early 20s. But when the battery went in this at some point in my 30s, I had a mobile phone and I just didn't bother buying a watch for probably 10 years. And I don't know where I put this one. It was just buried in the loft somewhere. And I bought this as a bit of a laugh, right? And so I bought this one because I just thought a nice slim watch, as you can see. I wear it for work. So I just bought that thinking, I'll give that a go. Give it a go. And I enjoyed wearing it. And that got my bug back, you see. And so not long after buying that, I bought this thing. And I wear this a lot for work. This is my main work watch. And I think this is a cracking watch. This is about 80 or 90 pounds. They're solar powered. They keep great time. Highly legible. It's a 42mm case. It sits absolutely fantastic on my wrist. These edges do feel a little bit sharp and they can dig in a little bit. But normally when I come home, I put this bad boy on anyway. Okay. But I love this watch. This is my go-to watch. When I'm at work, it's sort of, I flit in between wearing this one and that one. But I think after buying this, because I like that dressy style of watch, I bought this thing. And as you can see, they're all running absolutely fine. But this is my least favourite one, if I'm honest. I thought I would like it, but it just looks a bit too 80s. It just looks a bit too trendy and 80s and disco-y. I don't know. It's not my style. Even though it's dressy, it's just a little bit nothingy, you know. And so I think after buying the quartz and a couple of solars, I thought, you know what? I want to buy a mechanical watch. You know, just to sort of get into having that mechanical watch. And this is actually pretty good. Like I set everything off the Rolex as long as the Rolex is running fine. Meaning, you know, they do run slow if you haven't worn them. These will run slow. If you don't wear these for 2 days, they will start running slow. Now, this has got a power reserve of about 38 hours. But I've not worn this for a day, and you can see it's running great. And I really like this. And I wear this, I sort of flit in between these two, you know. And then I no longer have them. The first watch I bought after this one was an SBG M221. And I bought that 2 or 3 years ago. And I've recently sold it. I actually made a profit on it. So if any of you are Archie Luxury fans and he says that the arse fell out of watch collecting, I mean, it has to a certain degree, but you can still flip watches for a profit if you buy carefully. You can. After the SBG M221, I actually kept that and I bought a Breitling Super Ocean chronograph, which was the model before this one. That was a 500 meter water resistant watch, and it was a cracking watch. But what I find, and this is a little bit of a rule I realise. If I've got more than 2 really decent watches, one of them doesn't get worn. Okay. And I don't like the idea that I've got a few £1,000s just sitting in a drawer doing nothing. I just think I might as well not have it. Now it doesn't matter about all these cheapies. It just doesn't matter. There's not really the same emotional attachment to a lot of them. There is to some. I would never get rid of this that my daughter got me. Never. I'd never get rid of this. This was the first significant watch that I bought, and there's a story about this watch that's quite sensational, really. I would never get rid of my dad's watch, right? Would I get rid of this? I mean, maybe that will be collectible one day. Who knows? But I like this. I wouldn't get rid of it. And I like this. I wouldn't get rid of it. I will get rid of this. And I will get rid of that. You know. But here's the thing. What are you going to get for them? You're going to get absolutely nothing for them. But the point of this video, really, after 9 minutes and 13 seconds, is to show you that it is a good idea, before you go spending lots of money on watches, right? Before you go spending lots of money on watches, buy a few cheapies. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you spend a couple of £100 on cheapies. It really doesn't. Because if you're going to get into this hobby, you're going to be spending thousands. So what's a few £100 developing your taste? You know, it really doesn't matter. I think when I got this from my father, the battery was running in it. And I would wear this. I'm pretty sure I sized this. Yeah, so I did size this one. But this is certainly, yeah, it's not. Okay, so I don't have calipers. I'm a tradesman. I've got a tape measure. What is this? So this is about 53 lug to lug. So this is the good thing with having these cheap. Yeah, I'll just show you on camera. So there to there. So it's about 53 lug to lug. This is the good thing with having cheap watches, guys. You know, you can really try out what fits you and what doesn't. I like, you can go to the shop and just try them out as well, but just by having these watches, you get a sense of what fits you. You know, like some people say, oh, well, I mean, look, now I know that this is a 53mm lug to lug. I know I can pull that off. My wrist is about 60 centimeters, right? It's about 60 centimeters. So even though on the camera it looks quite big, when I'm looking at it with my own eyes, right? Well, this looks like it's really protruding, but when I look at it in real life, it's not. It's perfectly fine. So I could get away with this watch. So so that's 44. It's a 44mm watch. And trust me, it looks bigger on camera, okay? Now, my dad, I think, had an 8-inch wrist. At least he was a big guy. This sat really well on him. Now, if I dialed this bracelet in even more, this would be absolutely fine, this watch. You know, it's just a good, legible, cheap watch. But it's always good to have a few watches, so you know exactly what fits you, and what doesn't fit you, what you can get away with. Yeah, so look at the lume popping off that. I would criticise this a little bit because the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, they're not loomed, but you've got tiny little lume pips here that help. And obviously the hands are loomed well enough, and the 3, 6 and the 12, 6 and 9 are loomed well enough to guide you. But as I've said in other videos, I wear glasses, and in the middle of the night, if I get up for the loo, I'm struggling to see if it's 3:30 or 4:30 even on this. It just doesn't matter to me. People talk about all these little things about the watches. Now, I know watches are all about the detail. I fully understand that. But you've got to get a grasp of what is really important. Does it matter that this bezel feels more mechanical than this? It just doesn't matter. You know? It just doesn't matter. How they make you feel is what matters. Really. Yep, love it. Okay. So there we go. All of my watches, bar 1 or 2. I hope you found this video a little bit interesting anyway. All right, guys. Sayonara.